Probably should have done. Right, okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are live. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Friday Night Live show, trading as Aid Thompson and other disappointments. Your twice-weekly delve into all things awful and bad and shit and awful again. I'm your host, the always cheery, rarely beery these days, Aid Thompson. And join me now as we once again dance through these fields of dystopia. We have quite a bit to touch on tonight. Loads of news this week. Loads to tap into, like Prince Andrew taps into a... I don't think we need to finish that sentence, do we? What's going on this week? People in the live chat, what has been your favourite news story of the last 5, 6 days since the last time that we did this? What's been your favorite or least favorite, least impressive, most disappointing, most on brand news story of the last few days? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat, and I shall periodically come back to you. What's happened from my perspective? What's been going on out there in Newsland? We've had Donald Trump. Donald Trump is all excited that he's going to get to turn Gaza into a Riviera resort, he thinks, with beachfront properties, casino, pool. I mean, it sounds exciting, doesn't it? Sounds exciting. But who's going to finance it? Do you know what I mean? Like, somebody has to finance that for him. Because he's not a billionaire. We've been through this many times. He's a fake billionaire. I don't think Deutsche Bank want to loan him any money anymore. And Deutsche Bank were, if you haven't caught my video about him and his history as a fake billionaire, Deutsche Bank were always his go-to bank. They don't want to do it. They parted ways with him in 2021, I believe. He might have won over Meta and Musk, but who in their right mind is going to finance a total Gazan redevelopment like that? For Americans and Israel to just walk all over the Palestinian people. Who's going to finance it in their right minds? I mean, like, hurricane and wildfire insurance is bad enough, isn't it? When you finance a project and you need the various insurances just to build it, let alone after, like, when you actually own it. Those kinds of insurances are bad enough for hurricanes and wildfires and floods and all the... Like, who the fuck is going to insure the casino built by the convict in a building destined to have a fucking plane flown into it? Who is going to step up to that in their right minds? Oh, that seems like a safe bet. The casino felon fucking airplane bait. No, thank you. Labour, the Labour Party, are resisting calls to close a tax loophole enjoyed by international countries, international investors, international traders. They're resisting calls to close it. It's called the Shine method, or the Shine loophole. And basically, if you're a company and you have a company kind of set up in London, but maybe you have sweatshops and warehouses out in China, you can avoid the import duty that you probably should have to pay. You should have to pay it, but you can avoid that if you're flying in all of these cheap shit goods, right? Like, if you ship small packages directly to the customer from your Chinese sweatshop warehouse, directly to the customer, you don't have to pay import duty on that. So that's how, just in case you were wondering, that is why those socks that you ordered, the USB cables, the case for your new iPhone. That is why all of these things are so cheap, even though they come from the other side of the world. Just in case you were wondering. But the EU have said this week that they are going to crack down on all of that. They're not going to stand for it. They're going to start charging import duty, close that loophole, right? But when asked if they would implement similar checks or taxes, the UK government, the Labour Party, Keir Starmer's cabinet said, no, actually, we're fine. I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we need to really look at that, because it's a funny thing. Like, we've kept our cards close to our chest in this respect. But actually, we are overrun with cash. We don't need to charge anyone like tariffs or import duties or anything. Like, actually, our tax coffers are just exploding with money at the moment. Public services don't require any extra funding. So no, we don't have any plans to apply those import duties here in Blighty. No plans to implement further safety checks either. Down with the red tape. Oh, we don't like red tape, do we? I think it's good. I think it's good. Fantastic policy. Brave stuff there from Keir Starmer. And, just while we're on this subject, I think if the British steel industry, if the European steel industries have taught us anything, guys, it's that we can't get enough of huge influxes, deluges of cheap, industry decimating Chinese shit. Absolutely, we shouldn't close those loopholes. Let's just let them carry on with that thing that is obviously bad for the UK economy. Tanking our industries, overrunning the steel industry, sending it plunging into the depths, into the red. But do you know what? Tanking industry is not always bad, guys. Certainly not in the news this week. Cheers, by the way, Friday night. Don't know if any of you have got a glass of wine or something on the go. Rolled yourself a bifter. Racked yourself up a couple of fresh ones. Tanking industry is not always bad, as we saw after figures released this week showed the sale of Teslas plunged in January, guys. It's going down quite dramatically, in fact, when compared with the same period in 2024, which is, it's fucking hilarious, really. It's like it always comes back to, for me, it always comes back to the go woke, go broke thing, It always comes back to the idea that if you adopt progressive ideals, then you pay some sort of price for it. When you might expect the general public to react to your policy, in a positive manner, then actually they don't. That's the idea behind it, right? Go woke, go broke. Is this idea that they love to wheel out. It's like, oh, look over there. Look, Barclays have got a rainbow-coloured door this month. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Well, I'll definitely bank with them then. And maybe, the cynicism for that sort of thing, maybe it's well placed. Maybe it's not totally without foundation. It is a bit ridiculous for a bank that are about to re-enter the Saudi Arabian market to be over here, but we love the gays. We love the gays, so we do. What exactly is adorning their doors in Saudi Arabia to curry favor with the Saudi market? What have they got over those doors in Saudi Arabia? So, it's not totally without foundation to mock that sort of thing. But equally, do you know what? Being progressive, certainly in the West, being progressive as a corporation, as a company, is a winner. It just is. Commercially, statistically, mathematically, the studies are in and the conclusions are clear. I don't know necessarily what drives it myself. It could be whether it's, it's welcoming more people in from a wider group of more diverse backgrounds. It expands your market demographic. Maybe it's something along those lines. Could be, right? Or is it, you see rainbow flags everywhere. You see mixed race couples on the adverts or something. Maybe it just resonates more positively with people. And so it makes people happier when they're in the shop, when they're in the bank or the car dealership. And so then when they feel happier, then, I don't know, they're more likely to spend money in there or something, or feel good about themselves. They associate it with feeling good, so they go into that coffee shop more often, perhaps. I don't know. Like, maybe it's a mix of all of these things. But commercially progressive companies do mathematically tend to perform better. It's just a fact. Meanwhile, Tesla is now going through some things. Tesla, because this is a company that was originally borderline cult-like. Remember? Like, cast your mind back like 2 or 3 years ago, before everything went a bit crazy. It was borderline cult-like in terms of its subscription to environmental concerns, wasn't it? To saving the planet, to being technologically innovative. So it attracted the interest of people like me, people who work in tech, people who were like, oh, that's clever. We should be looking at stuff like that. Yeah, okay, I'll get one. And you say that they might drive themselves soon. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, I'll take a look. I'll take it for a test drive. Right? Cult-like in its subscription to environmental concerns, to being innovative. And that same company now, it's just like, now is it like, what is it? It's essentially a byword now for fucking Nazi salutes. Like, it's gone completely. It's like the opposite of go woke, go broke now, isn't it? It's like, you go woke, you go broke over here. Okay. What exactly is it that you guys have done? Go Nazi, you've got like, what is it Tan says? Tan says like, go fash, lose cash or something, isn't it? Something along those lines. It's like the opposite of go woke, go broke. Like, imagine how Tesla's branding team are handling all of this. Just imagine. Put yourself in their positions. With Musk out here amping up Britain First accounts, helping to spread racist conspiracy theories, doing Nazi salutes, pulling the plug on US aid, Skyping into AFD rallies. Imagine how the Tesla branding team are trying to still attract technical, intellectually okay programmers and project managers, people who have or give a shit about the environment and being progressive. Now, please still come in. Please come into the dealership. Like, who remembers the Jaguar rebrand from a couple of months ago? Do you guys remember that? People in the chat? Anybody remember the Jaguar rebrand? It looked like a Gap commercial, didn't it? Tell me it didn't look like an advert for Gap. There's a Chinese girl over here. There's a gay guy over there. There's bright pink backgrounds. It was unapologetically woke, wasn't it? In a time where motherfuckers are setting fire to their diversity and inclusivity targets and policies. Unapologetically woke. I love it. And everyone mocked it, didn't they? Everyone was like, oh, man. It's really bummed me out, that advert. It's put me in a bad mood, being so positive and progressive. Whoa, I don't like it. You had broke people on Twitter go like, well, I'm not going to buy a Jaguar now. Okay, all right. Okay. Now you're not going to buy a Jag. Got it. Good stuff. You know? I lost count of the amount of posts I saw on Twitter, Instagram, comments on my TikToks, people going like, oh, like Jaguar are about to find out the hard way. Go woke, go broke. Like, people love saying that shit, no matter how untrue it is. And me, like, personally, I hope they fucking smash it now. I really hope they do, especially after this Tesla news. The number of Teslas sold in January just gone. I hope they fucking smash it. I hope all of the tech bros, the project managers, the JavaScript and Python developer guys with reason and intellect can see MySpace X for what he is and just completely abandon Teslas. I hope that happens and they all run to Jaguar. Go woke, go broke. I hope that the 25% that Tesla sales are down, I hope that is reflected directly in an uptick of 25% up on Jaguar sales. Like, that's how you know that you fucked up, guys. That's how you know that the world is fucked up, even. Is when you've got card-carrying lefties like me rooting for Jaguar. Yeah, go on, guys. Go on, prestige car brand. Cheering them on from the side. Do you know what? This is almost as ridiculous as when Nigel Farage had me rooting for banks. So he did. But yeah, anyway, so Tesla sales are down by a quarter. And their stock price, their share price is down by a fifth. Personally, I'm here for it. You might have picked up on that. I think, in a political climate where we don't really have much say for the next 4 years, certainly not in this country, obviously, but, nobody really has any say insofar as who is in the White House or how they govern for the next 4 years. Do we? But one of the few ways that we can still have our voices heard is by walking with our feet, isn't it? Voting with our wallets. So I don't know, like, if you were thinking about getting a Tesla and you don't like Nazis, like maybe you do, maybe that's your thing, maybe you're totally on board with the branding, you're like, this brand speaks to me now. But if you were thinking about buying a Tesla and you don't like Nazis, then you can now, choose to fuck off and buy yourself a Jaguar instead. Maybe it's just what I'm saying. You have options. Just like if you were thinking about buying a Pepsi, or if you were thinking about signing up for Facebook or Instagram, or eating McDonald's or shopping at Walmart, which I assume, includes Asda because they own Walmart, or Google or Amtrak or Target or the FBI or Amazon or Boeing or Coors or Ford or Harley Davidson or Jack Daniels. God, it's so depressing, isn't it? All of these brands, all of these corporations just couldn't wait to just pick up those diversity targets, diversity processes, policies, and teams, and just set fire to it. Just chuck it in the bin. All that rhetoric over the years about supporting diversity. And now where are we? In this DEI stuff. Like, the rhetoric has just changed, hasn't it? All of this narrative getting woven about, this, it's like DEI, you got to get rid of it because it just means that somebody who is undeserving might get a job that somebody else should have got. Right? Seems to be what it boils down to, I think, is this obsessive fear that DEI, that these diversity and inclusion processes and teams may result in somebody stealing a job off somebody else who was more deserving of it. And here's the fucked up thing is all of that is rooted in rhetoric from an orange sack of skin who gave White House jobs to each of his kids and his fucking son-in-law. Like, who was qualified to do those jobs? Completely overlooked. Oh, here you go. Here you go, Don Jr. Here you go, Eric. Here you go, Ivanka and her husband. Ivanka Trump has, her husband has made something absolutely obscene, like $500 million since he had that role. Before I think it was worth something like 2 million or 3 million, because none of these people marry like schmucks. No, none of these people marry down. They always marry equally rich or more rich people. Since Donald Trump gave him that job in the White House, he is now worth an array of allegedly, reportedly, suggestively. Is suggestively a word? Does that sit right there? Alleged. Let's stick with allegedly. Shady deals. He's now worth something absolutely ridiculous like $500 million. It is insane how overlooked other people were for those jobs. But yes, down with diversity and inclusion. That is the problem, clearly. I mean, that is the thing that really fucking stings about it, isn't it? It's always this bullshit about giving jobs to people who don't deserve them, but by people who bequeath a lifetime of wealth, riches, and unearned privilege to their own children. It's like, we got to get rid of DEI. Otherwise, somebody might get a job that they don't deserve. We might overlook somebody else. But also, quick, look over there whilst I give my 2 sons and daughter these incredibly powerful, wealth-creating roles. Anyway. I guess what I'm trying to say is this, look. The only job that DEI stole was nepotism's. What else has been going on, guys? What else has been happening? Lucy Letby looks like she's probably going to get a new trial or maybe get her conviction quashed, which is another resounding victory, I think, for her defense team. And obviously for she herself. But it's also for, it's a resounding victory for we of the cancel culture isn't actually real brigade. Isn't it? Because, how are you going to tell me that a nurse like Lucy Letby, who, when she was on duty, the babies died, okay? Multiple babies when she was on shift. She was the variable. And then when she was on clerical duty, when she was not on, baby nursey duty thing, whatever the fuck it is that they did, when she wasn't on the ward, miraculously the death stopped. That is what happened. These are the facts. This is a nurse who wrote down on a post-it note, I did it, I killed them all, right? There's something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was something along, she confessed. She wrote down on a post-it note, stuck it to her fridge. I'm responsible. I did it. I am evil. All of these things, right? Pathologists and forensic specialists testified against her. She gets to make a comeback now, is what we're saying, guys. She gets to make a comeback, but you're going to tell me that cancel culture is real. I just don't. Like, honestly, like, now I'm like, why don't we just go the full hog? Like, why are we even fucking around here, guys? Like, why don't we, let's get her back on Strictly. If cancel culture is real and you want to solve it, I say let's let her be the guinea pig. I say give Let be the fresh trial. Let's see her acquitted and let's see her come back. Let's right this wrong right now. Let's get her on Strictly. Let's get her in the jungle. Let be for the jungle 2025, guys. It's the campaign and it started here tonight. Who's with me? Let's rehabilitate her career to right the wrong of cancel culture. Let's get her back on TV. Let's let the public decide. With a premium rate ITV1 number. Somebody give that bitch a little comedy sketch on children in need. I think that's where this needs to go. Let be gets a shot at a comeback now, is what we're saying. If the broadsheets are to be believed, Let be gets a shot at a comeback, but cancel culture is a thing. Let be gets a shot at a comeback, but we still can't have a new R. Kelly and Diddy album? Really? Shit is ridiculous. Like, how weird is it, bro? While we're on the subject, how weird is it? Like, for all of the talk of cancel culture, against the backdrop of adjudicated rapist and convicted fraudster Donald Trump's second term and DEI being binned and Musk's Nazi salute, like, if Woody Allen now released a new romantic comedy and it starred Kevin Spacey and Lucy Letby, if that was released now, like, honestly, half of the UK and half of the US would pay to go and see that. They would. Don't even try arguing with me. It is a fact. It is a fact. Half of the UK and the US would go and see a Woody Allen movie, and it stars Kevin Spacey and Lucy Letby. They would go and see it, and they would hate it. They would hate it because it's Woody Allen. So it would be quite cerebral and intellectual and kind of funny and a little bit clever. But, you know, and all of these cunts are fucking MAGA as fuck, right? So they wouldn't get any of the, like, little jokes and reference points or whatever. But they would go and see it anyway, and they would hate it. But they would pretend to love it and cheer it on just to own the libs. It'd be a hit. It would go straight to number one of the box office, and they wouldn't care. They would not care that it had Woody Allen and Kevin Spacey in it, as long as it owned the libs. That's how far we've sunk, man. This is the level that we're pitching at now. This is how far we've sunk. It's like, just when you think, oh, you know, the rhetoric's got a bit bad now, isn't it? You know, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrels here. Rhetoric's got a little bit heated, if you don't mind me saying so. You know, I'm sure Benedict Cumberbatch feels really silly about his use of the term coloured in that interview. Or, you know, maybe the Tesla share price is a sign that the public have had enough of this problematic alt-right nonsense and the culture war nonsense. Maybe this is the bottom of the barrel and now we can start to see the green shoots of sanity restored in the journo-political landscape. Just when you think it can't get any worse, Kanye West enters the chat and says, and I quote, I'm a Nazi. He says, Kanye West, January 2025. He says, I'm a Nazi. And then in a separate post, he says, I love Hitler. In another post that I'm sure at some point is destined to be claimed that it's, you know, it was taken out of context. It's just, you know, I mean, it's literally that. You literally just said that on a tweet by itself. I mean, it is the context. It is its own context. I read it loud and clear, Kanye. I'm a Nazi and I love Hitler. I mean, this is how you know that Kanye West is absolutely gone, isn't he? He's just out to lunch. The guy is fucking gone, man. This is how you know he's gone crazy, right? Here is a guy, an African American, right, who Hitler would have hated, right? Wasn't a fan of men of African origin, or, you know, people whom he decided were impure, not Aryan, etc. So Hitler would have hated him. But this guy, Kanye West, supports Trump, right? Who in turn supports Benjamin Netanyahu, right? Israeli Prime Minister. Benjamin Netanyahu, very famous Jewish gentleman you might have read about recently. So, like, how fucking weird and paradoxical is it that you've got these Trumpy fucking lunatics like Kanye, who's like, oh, I'm a Nazi and I love Hitler. It's like, how does Netanyahu feel about that? How does, like, do you all hang out together? Is this cool with him? Or is Netanyahu turning back round to Trump going like, you like that guy? Or is he with you? Like, I doubt even, this is how you know that Kanye's gone fucking nuts. It's like, I doubt even Palestinians who are about to get bulldozed by Trump, by Israel, I doubt even they would be like, am I a Nazi? Like, are you, you know, the Jews are coming. They're going to, like, level your ground. They're going to bulldoze this and turn it into a Trump Tower. Do you hate the Jews? I don't know. I think even them, they would be like, but are you a Nazi? Nazi seems a bit strong. I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what they're doing to the home that I grew up in. They've razed it to the ground and they've blown my fucking legs off. But am I a Nazi? It's still a bit strong, to be honest. That's how you know that Kanye is nuts. What else has been going on, guys? What else is the happy haps? Grenfell Tower in West London. Grenfell got announced that it's going to be demolished. Turn one of these heaters off. Sweating like Prince Andrew in a nursery. Grenfell got announced that it's going to be demolished. That also has happened this week. It was confirmed just today. Previously, the campaign groups, they said that it shouldn't be brought down until those responsible had been dragged into court and jailed for social murder, or at least somebody or a company or something should be found liable for the 70-odd deaths, the 70-odd innocent people who burnt to fucking death in there, right? But no, now after almost a decade, now the government have decided it's best if we all just move on. Put it behind us. Just demolish it. To be honest, you know, just bring that shit down. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer, guys. Major buzzkill every time we go to West London. Can we just do something about that tower? Is what they're saying. They didn't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting them quite as warmly as I did Kanye West, I can assure you. So yes, the Labour Party, who are now in government, are saying that we need to demolish Grenfell Tower so that, well, you know what? So that realistically, Donald Trump can fucking barge in and build a casino there. That is where this is heading, isn't it? That is the end game to this story. I mean, I think that's what's likely to happen here. Is they'll demolish it, be sold off to if not Trump, then somebody like Trump. Donald Trump's not really interested in the UK, I don't think, from a property perspective. It'll probably go to one of like Labour's party donors, like the property developer guys that go to Labour's breakfast club now. I don't know if you read about that. Do you remember all the times that we took the piss out of Tories for having a secret breakfast club? The £250,000 donors and upwards. It had a special name. I can't remember it now. It'll come back to me in a minute. But if you donated to the Tories to the tune of 250k and upwards, you got a seat at the table at this breakfast club. What did it buy you? What kind of influence? What sort of policy could you disrupt or contort or tweak to your favour? Nobody knows because there was never any minutes. Well, Labour have one of them now. Hooray for democracy. Are you feeling the change, guys? So yeah, it'll probably go to one of Labour's property developer, breakfast donor people. What do you guys think we should do with it? People in the live chat. People in the comments watching this back later. What do you think we should do with Grenfell? If you had your hands on the levers of power, what would you do with Grenfell Tower? Because I think they should tear it down. I do. I think they should tear it down. But here is the thing. I think they should demolition it, right? And then I think they should clear the area. But then I think every time the local authority or Sadiq Khan or the City of London Corporation approve another fucking fishbowl skyscraper destined to stand empty with nobody living in it for like 10 years, like the Shard, like this new one that's just got greenlit a couple of weeks ago. Like, I think they should each, all of the property developers that do those things, I think they, as a condition of being greenlit, they should have to chip in another £3 million levy towards rebuilding this thing and give it all away to social tenants that were impacted by Grenfell. I think that's what should happen. Vote for me, A. Thompson. We should have tier 1 facilities, a concierge. They should have a fucking gym and free super fast broadband. Like, how is that not a perfect solution, guys? You know, or if we want to get really like ideological and, you know, cunty about it. Remember who you're talking to here. Remember, like, I am a paid up card carrying member of Team Petty. Here's what I think we should do. If we're going to go really ideological and cunty, maybe I like this idea better, right? Is, next time some big Abu Dhabi hedge fund or sovereign wealth fund from that neck of the woods, whatever, next time they're looking to build and buy up property in London, can we do the old, like, London Bridge switcheroo? Can we do that? But with Grenfell Tower. Can we do it? Is that distasteful? I don't know. I think that's what we should do. I think we should do, like, we should market it to them like London Tower, right? So they think they're buying like some big new glass skyscraper. They think they're buying the fucking Gherkin or the Shard. And then they fly over 3 years later at the end of the project. Yeah, you bought London Tower. They walk out of the limo, like, look up to see this big fucking West London Death Tower. They're like, what the fuck is this? I'm sorry, man. That's probably in bad taste, isn't it? Yeah, I'm in a really pissy mood tonight. Really, shitty, cunty mood. I have been all day, to be honest. Like, my daughter got sent home from nursery again earlier. It's the third day in a row now, because Wednesday she had a temperature, but she was fine before drop off. So that was Wednesday. Then Thursday, I took her back again because she was fine. Like, she was fine fine before the drop-off, but then they said she had a temperature. We had to come pick her up, and she was fine, like, immediately after. Like, we gave her some cowpole. She's dancing around. I was like, well, she's obviously fine, so I'll just take her back again. Thursday, I take her back again, and they turn her away at the door. They're like, sorry, no. She can't come back today. Like, she's got to be out for, like, 48 hours. Like, that is the policy, because if she's still unwell, like, she could give it to other kids. I'm like, I mean, she's fine. She's fine. I promise you, she's perfectly fine. But, you know, a very brief exchange at the door. They're like, I'm sorry, we should have told you yesterday when your partner picked her up, but she has to be out for 48 hours. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, whatever. Like, it's disruptive, but it's okay. It's only one day. It's a one-off. Okay, fine. Today, I drop her off. And an hour later, they phone me up and they're like, yeah, you got to come and pick her up again. I'm afraid she's not very well. And this time I'm fucked off, okay? This time I'm upset. I'm cross. Because I'm like, she was fine like an hour after you sent her home on Wednesday. Perfectly fine. And she was fine yesterday. Like, the whole day. You sent her home. I was fine to play with that. I was like, okay, if that's the rules, it's a one-off. It's okay. It's a little bit frustrating. It's disruptive, but it's okay. It's just once off. One-off. Fine. But today as well, really? You're sending her home today. This is the third day. I know there's nothing wrong with her because, like, the whole morning she's been messing around with her brother. I'm like, you feel okay? Okay, do you want to go for a wee? Yeah, all right. Let's get in the car. She's perfectly fine. And within an hour, you're telling me, oh, she's so unwell again. I'm like, really, though? She's like, well, you know, I'm sorry. The thing is, like, there's just so much illness going around at the moment. We just can't have sick children coming back and spreading it around. I'm like, yeah, no, I understand that. But here's the thing. She's not fucking sick. So, I don't know what you want me to do here. And they're like, yeah, I know. But she said, well, I mean, the thing is, she's been so quiet since you've dropped her off. And she says that she's got a sore mouth. I'm like, no, she's got chapped lips. Because it's fucking freezing. I've got chapped lips. Should I stay home too? Like, is it safe for me to re-enter your premises with my chapped lips, with my hugely infectious, hazmat fucking sealed off chapped lips? And they're like, no, she's definitely not. She's definitely not feeling it though. That's the thing, is she's just quiet and she's not really joining in. And we're trying to do story time, and I'm like, so who fucking cares? I don't care. I don't give a shit if she's not joining in with story time. Like, it's because, I'll tell you why she's not joining in. Because she's got a brain. And those fucking stories suck. Like, we're supposed to take her to the doctors and get her diagnosed for accurately assessing the entertainment value of the tiger who came to tea. Fuck off. They're like, hey, there's something wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with her. She has just accurately assessed the quality of the stories here. Accurately assessed the entertainment value that you're offering her. I would say she's functioning perfectly. And then this is my favorite bit, right? This is my favorite bit of the call. She says she's not joining in. She's not feeling it. And I'm being a little bit obstructive. I'm being a little bit, a bit cunty, maybe, a bit like pushing back a bit. And she says she's not joining in. She's not feeling it. And I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, not being funny, but this isn't like daycare. I'm like, are you fucking joking? This isn't daycare. Yeah, I still can't believe it. You're a fucking nursery. This isn't daycare. That's exactly what it is. It's literally what it is. I'm paying you hundreds of pounds every single month specifically to look after my kid. And you're getting me to come back, pick her back up on the basis that you're not the daycare that I'm paying you to be. And then she says she's got a temperature. So I say, fuck it, okay, fine. I'll take her home. But I guarantee you, within a fucking hour, she will be dancing around, bouncing off the walls. Guaranteed. And you know what? She fucking was. Within like half an hour, I got her in the door. I was being like nice. I was like, are you not feeling well then, little one? Okay, come on then. Sit down. You have a little rest on the sofa. Within 30 minutes, she was dancing around to Frozen, asking where her brother was. Come and play with me, Dad. I'm like, I've got fucking work to do. Your brother's at school. Lay down. You're supposed to be at nursery. You either go to nursery because you're fine or you lay down here and pretend to be sick. But either way, just fucking let me crack on. Like, she literally, all this comes down to, she literally just did not want to be there. That is all it comes down to. She couldn't be asked for the stories. Maybe she had a tiny temperature. Maybe. I don't know. You know, like a huge away from work. They're ruining my missus' birthday. It's her birthday today. We had plans to go out for lunch and all that. And then it's the whole, like, this isn't daycare thing. I'm like, do you know what you should do? You should make that your fucking tagline. I think that would be, like, fuck your fucking website. You'll give your child the best start. Like, it should say, here's what it should say. It should say, Jamieson's Nurseries. This isn't fucking daycare. I think you should clarify that. I think it should say it right there on your website as a little tagline, the little subheading, because otherwise, in the absence of having that there, I think parents might get confused. And like, here's the thing, man, is it's such a contrast to my son's school. Like, that's what's fucking weird about it, is like, it's so different to what we get from how my son's school behaves. Like, the school, right? He could catch a cough, right? This happens, you know, most kids catch coughs, right? Happens reasonably often. He could catch a cough and he could cough all night and keep himself sort of awake. He wouldn't be able to sleep properly. Then he'd wake up, like, kind of in the morning, and he'd just be completely fucking exhausted. And I will keep him home when he's like that, because frankly, he's no good to anybody when he's like that, when he's on 2 hours sleep and he's still coughing his guts up. So I keep him home when he has a cough. Now, you guys will know that a cough can last anywhere, in terms of like the tickly, like, back of the throat thing that you just can't help yourself from coughing every, like, couple of minutes. That can last like fucking, 3 days, 4 days of like minimal sleep, right? So let's say that happens 2 days in a row, only 2, with my son, and I keep him home afterwards. Then the school phone us up. And they're like pestering us to give them like doctor's notes, like a GP's note for a cough. Like they don't believe us, like it's truanting or some shit. Like, it's so over the top. They even phoned me up. I think I talked about this on an episode of the podcast a while back. They even phoned me up. They were like, yeah, actually, what we say now is that even if you think it's COVID, even if they get the yes on the COVID test, like it is COVID, we say send them in. And then, if they're too ill to work, then we phone you up and we get you to come and collect them. But it's, you got to send them in. It's so important. So I got the school over here on one hand going like, just send them in. Even if they've got this deadly influenza thing, like, just let us take care of them. And then on the flip side, I've got the nursery. And the first sign of a sniffle, they're on the blower. They're like, oh, man, she's not in a good way at all. I mean, this could be contagious. I mean, look at her chapped lips. Hey, she's got a temperature of 0.02 degrees. Get her to the health centre, stat. Call the fucking paramedics, aid. Like, are you serious? Like, how are you people going to handle an actual fucking emergency? How does that go down? In a nursery like this, how do you handle an actual fucking emergency? It's a good job that it's nursery and you're not nurses. Because if you people actually saw some shit, I think you'd have a fucking heart attack. I don't know, man. Right, I better wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm going to break this down into the lock-in now, guys. Break it down into the lock-in, which is a thing that we do on the Friday night show. After we finish the podcast proper, I open up the chats. We do a little bit of Q&A. But until next time, if you're just tuning in for the podcast or you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple, whatever, I shall bid you farewell. Thank you once again for listening, and do consider joining the Patreon. It starts at only £1 a month. But until next time, I'll be back next week for the alternative paper review, right? But until next time, keep it booch, keep it binfluencer, and we're out this motherfucker. Right, let's get on to the lock-in, shall we? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and